Recording in progress.
So we'll begin by chanting opening invocation mantras. Mantras that invoke the grace of the lineage, Lord Shiva, and create an energy, an atmosphere of love and harmony between the student and the teacher. And after we do that, we'll recite the Sri Kundalini Stavaha, the hymn to the glory of the Kundalini. And so as we sing to the Shakti, we're recognizing and working with the idea that by honoring Shakti, by honoring Devi, this is the way that we come to Shiva. And so the Jnana Bhairava Tantra, it says that Shakti is the very face of Shiva. And so when we come to know Shakti, our love of Shakti brings us to Shiva, that experience of boundless consciousness. So we'll begin by reciting the mantras. And you should have the file in the chat if you're watching online. Yeah.
Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda
Niyamya Kula Kundali Japapadam Bhojam Sasido Bhave Vaivakasha Chaturdaleti Vimale Vacha Palonmolage Nityam Samprapti Nityatheha Gatita Shanketita Pavita Vidya Kundalamanini Swajanani Maya Kriya Vavyate Yaste Seda Kulhodbhavi Pranati Visat Stotra Kaishambhuvihi Dhata Shankar Mohini Tribhuvana Chaya Padogamini Samsaradi Mahasukha Praharani Tatrastita Yogini Sarva Granthi Vibedini Swabhujaga Sukshmati Sukshma Paira Brahma Jnana Vinodini Gulaguti Yagatini Bhavyate Vande Shri Kula Kundalim Trivalipi Sange Swayambhu Priyam Pravishtam Baramarga Chitta Chapala Bala Balanishkalam Ya Devi Paripati Veda Vadana Sambhavini Tapini Ishtanam Shirasi Swayambhu Vanitam Sambhavayami Kriyam Vani Koti Mridanga Madana Nishreni Koti Dhvani Praneshira Sarashi Mula Kamalula Saika Purnanana Ashadudbhava Megha Rajji Janita Dhvantananastayini Mata Saparipatu Sukshma Pataga Mam Yoginam Shankari Ashritya Nara Vrajanti Sahasa Vaikunta Kailasayor Anantaika Vilasinim Shashashita Nandananam Karanam Mata Shri Kula Kundali Priyakali Kali Kaludipale Tatstanam Pranamami Bhadravanite Mamudhara Tvam Vashu Kundali Shakti Margasthastatrashtaka Mahabalam Yapati Pragarutaya Sayogi Bhavati Dhruvam Kshananiva Hipatena Kavinatu Bhavediha Pavitra Kundali Yogi Brahmanino Bhavidmahar Itite Katitam Natha Kundali Komalam Stavam Etatstatra Prasadena Deveshu Gurudishpatihi Sarve Deva Siddhiyuta Asyastatra Prasadatah Dviparatham Chiram Jevi Brahma Sarva Sureshwaraha Brahma Sarva Sureshwaraha Brahma Sarva Sureshwaraha Sadguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai feel the heart beat. And as you feel the heart beat, anchor your awareness in Hridayakash. Feeling the heart beat, this throb of the energy of life inside. Recognize this, the feeling of vibration in the center of your being, as the Pranava, the sound of life, the sound of God, Shabda Brahma. And the feeling of the heart beating, this energy, this power. It has another name, and that's love. Feel love and its power, its frequency, its energy, here now in the heart. This love is the goddess Shakti. And this same power, this same love that enlivens you has given rise to all this, the world of name and form and variety, diversity, experience. And for a moment you just feel or contemplate or have faith that that same power that exists inside of you has made all of this. Breathe in a little bit deeper, and breathe out a little bit longer. Breathe in deep, breathe out long. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open as we come back into the shared space. From the great poet saint Lali or Lalleshwari. Today we're working with Pranava Ucchara. We're going to work with the sound resonance of the goddess, working on activating and installing that frequency, that felt experience of divinity in the Sushumna Nadi, the center of our being, and feeling that that great power has made all of this. And so we'll hear from Lalleshwari on her experience of Pranava or Om. And so she's speaking to herself rhetorically. She's speaking to, reflecting on her experience here in this particular poem song. She says, "What does a person have that is worthy of being given to Shiva? That which one attains from the knowledge of the self is worthy of being given to him." Normally in India, there's a procedure of puja. There's an idea that we make ritualistic offerings. And she's saying, it's not good enough just to offer matter to some image, like some image of God is not enough. The real offering is to offer one's self, one's heart, one's love, one's consciousness back to the heart of reality. And she's saying that this knowledge of who you are and what you're made of and what you're called to give back to this life, that's the real offering. We see this echoed in Vijnana Vaidava Tantra in some of its ecstatic concluding verses. It says it straight up, like, worship does not mean offering flowers, it means offering oneself to the heart of reality. One of the verses right in the text. So she's saying, what does a person have that is worthy of being given to Shiva? That which one attains from the knowledge of the self is worthy of being given to him. Put on the cloak of knowledge. Impress Lali's words on your heart. So she's saying there's this kind of knowledge that she wants to give us that we could wrap ourselves up in. And it's the wisdom that she's gotten from her sadhana. And see, this is the grace and the power of the siddhas, of the poet saints, the great yogis from time immemorial, that they love us and they want us to get it. And so it's like, she's given us the shawl that she's done all of her sadhana in. You know what I mean? And she's saying, use my words to wrap you up in this experience, this power. So that's what we're going to do. She says, through the sadhana of Om, Lali merged into the all-pervasive light, and death completely died. Now Lali is free from old age and mortality. I have always pursued Om. Even now I read it and practice it. It is one with the mantra Hamsa, I am that, or that I am, which consists of so, that, and aham, I. I renounced aham in the form of my pride and expanded to become perfect. I expanded into Shiva and became Shiva. So she's saying that inside of Om, there is a power, a vibration, a frequency that lets us relax what we normally call I. Because what we normally call I isn't really who we are. It's a collection of past experiences or hopes and anxieties about the future, or it's limited in some way. I'm man, I'm woman, I'm yoga teacher, I'm boyfriend, I'm pet owner, I'm vegetarian, I'm Aries, I'm this, I'm that, whatever your thing is. And she's saying, that ain't it. That's the wrong aham. It's the egoic I, that's the ahamkara. But we want to feel ourselves as life itself. And Om is the pranava, the sound of prana, the sound of life itself. And she's saying that this sound, this sonic resonance, can relax our sense of I, so we can feel ourselves as all, which is what she's calling Shiva here. She goes, what is the use of thousands of words and discussions? I have only one thing to say, and that is Om. When my feet, which had carried me down countless roads, began to follow only one, I quickly arrived at my destination. Why will you people not heed my words? Why do the people of the world toil along different paths? Why will they not listen to the truth? Lali so naturally merged into that one word, Om. Who needs thousands of words and mantras? So she's saying, let's get down to the root of it. Let's get down to the juice, the essence. And everything's come from Om. That's the kind of mythological importance of Om, is that from this sound Om, the whole universe came. And so she said, and one of the ways we could talk about that one thing that exists is we could call it nada, we could call it sound. We could also call it bindu, the point, And so in any moment, our mind, our energy, our body, it's moving us towards the point, towards oneness, or it's moving us away from the point, which is diversity, which we could also call Maya, which is illusion. We think that separateness is the only thing that's going on here. But when we tune ourselves back into Om, we can feel the oneness that's made all of this. Unity in diversity. Just saying, who cares? Wasting all this time saying this and that, trying to have conversations. Let's get down to brass tacks. The most important thing that we could say to each other is the sound that love makes, the sound that life makes, the sound of the self, the sound of God. Om. She says, I read and study only one word, and that word is Om, or Hamsa. So it's also the breath. The breath is also this. Don't get it twisted. She's saying, your own breath rises and falls. The sound that it makes, it's also Om. It's affirming your identity as Om. And potentially it says, Tasya Vachaka Pranava. The sound of Om is equivalent with that Supreme Purusha, that Supreme God. Om is the sound body of God. Om is God. So right away when you chant Om, God is on the lips, God is in the body, God is here. It's always going on. Even your breath expresses that cosmic vibration all the time. So she says, I read and study only one word, and that word is Om, or Hamsa. When I seized that word, I caught Lord Shiva himself. In the fire of that word, all my filth was burned to ashes, and I became pure gold. So they talk about yogic practices, tapasya. It means to burn. And what do we usually burn in? All of our tension. When we do yogic practices, we're courting an energy, a grace, and it's so powerful. It wants us to be free. And what normally has to happen is we start courting grace. It's grace shows us all the places where we're resisting her. And so we burn in the fire of our tension. We feel our attachments, we feel our aversions, we become conscious of the negative tendencies of our mind. It's like being on fire. And so the way of purifying gold, it's to heat the gold up very, very, very hot, and it burns up away the dross. That gold becomes more valuable through the process of burning. And so that's what we're doing in yogic sadhana. We're just getting rid of all the stuff that's not really us, So she's saying, all our tensions, all our tendencies were burned up, and I became pure gold. She goes on, there is only Om in the beginning, the middle, and end. Meditating on it, I merged into it. Attaining Om, I became new. Losing this mortal body, I won the immortal God, who is right inside myself, right within myself. The sublime glory of God, from which the world has come forth, is sustained by the mantra Om. Though that world is both gross and subtle, a seeker who contemplates it has no need for any other mantra. Om has 3 letters, A, U, M, that's my side, and contains all gods and all other mantras. It is the sound of the universe. Om is true and perfect. Om is everything. If a person focuses on the mantra Om, which pervades everything from the center of the body to the cosmic sky, of what use are other mantras to him? When the unsounded mantra Om arises in the heart, one can enter the abode of Shiva, the Brahmarandra. So they talk about the Brahmarandra is the top of the head. And it's thought that Shakti lives at the base of the spine, or the root center, and Shiva lives at the top of the head. And the practice here is about ascending that cosmic sound up the central channel. And so you bring the Shakti to Shiva. You bring the lover to the beloved. So this idea that it arises in the heart, this great energy of love, this kind of movement upward, and then we get to where Shiva lives, crown of the head. And this is a metaphor for enlightenment. When we have access or consciousness in Sahasrara, the 1,000-petaled lotus. It's why we do headstand, because we're trying to plug ourselves in to something much bigger. This is the space where we can merge with cosmic consciousness. And the way that we do it is sound and awareness. This is the yoni of the goddess is breath, sound, and mantra. Breath, sound, and mantra. When those 3 things come together, then you're doing quintessential tantric practice. Breath, breath, sound, and prana. Breath, sound, and prana. And you could say prana is also consciousness, but is energy. Yeah, so those 3 things, when those 3 things merge, then we're doing quintessential tantric practice. And so this is it. She's saying Om contains everything. Everything's born out of Om. Now, as we do this practice today, we're going to give it a tantric edge, because I am who I am. So, Om is the Vaidika Pranava. It's the Vedic sound of the universe. When we get into this tantric business, they don't use Om. Or if you quintessential tantric mantras, they don't even include Om when you recite the mantra, because Om is a given. You should already understand Om's made all this. So we actually don't need to tune into it. But if we want to make ourselves in contact with a particular force or deity or energy, we can use either the Shakta Pranava or the Shaiva Pranava. The Shakta Pranava, the sound that the goddess uses, the sound of love itself, the sound of our own heart, and the power, the battery, the energizer of the goddess's creative capacity is Hrim, Hrim. We call this the Shabda Pranava. This is the sound that it's safe for householders to use in this kind of practice the way we're going to use it. It's not going to be too destabilizing. It's gently heating. It's solar in its nature. And it's the sound, the power of the goddess, where she, out of love for everything, becomes everything. Okay? And so, we can make a case that Lali, if she's talking about Om as a Kashmiri, as a Tantrika, she's also implying Hrim, and the Shaiva Pranava is Hum or Haum. Those are the classical tantric sounds that bring about the Shiva energy, usually Bhairava. So Haum or Hum for Shiva consciousness, Hrim for the goddess. I love sharing Hrim Ucchara with people because it's one of the easiest ways I have found to initiate students into feeling the power of their own love, the power of their own energy, breath, and body. And so the goddess has become us through a very complicated process of limitation. And we forget that we're powerful. We forget that our love can create a whole world. Like an architect, they dream a building. And from their consciousness, eventually the building stands in the world. What was once an idea is now here, in the world of name and form, manifest. And so our love, which is a force of consciousness, it can do anything. The power of our awareness is that it's unlimited. If we only learn to be with that power. So the dharana today is to work with the Hrim mantra in the classical tantric practice of Ucchara. Pranavadi samucharat plutante shunya bhavanat Shunyaya paraya shaktya shunyatam eti bhairavi. This comes to us from Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. It's verse 39, or Dharana, or Yukti, practice number 16. So Shiva as Bhairava is talking to Shakti, Bhairavi, and Lord Bhairava says, "O Bhairavi, by perfect recitation of Pranava, and by contemplating over the void at the end of the protracted phase of it, and by the most eminent energy of the void, the yogi attains the void." Okay, so what the hell does that mean? We want to recite the sound, Pranava. The Pranava is the sound of energy, the sound of life. And oftentimes we also call Pranava Anahata. It aligns us with our own heart, and it means unstruck. When we do Ucchara, a practice like this, the lips never touch. Okay? So when we chant Hrim or Om or Haum or Hum, we can think of like the end of the sound being like N N N N N N N N N N G. And so as we resonate the sound, it first is an oral sound, then an oral nasal sound, and then a pure nasal sound. And so the sound should first resonate very quickly in the body as it ascends, and then most of the time we should feel it vibrating in the front of our face until it becomes placed very far forward in what we could call the mask, and you want to start to feel it buzzing in the nose and in the forehead. And if we make a pure nasal sound, if you plug your nose, the sound would stop because the airflow is gone. So this kind of sound, I'll point with my finger, I'll trace it up from the root center, and I'll start to, I'll show you visually as the sound ascends, oral, nasal, pure nasal. 3. r parts of the sound very fast. From perineum up through chest, throat, and then the E sound, that oral nasal sound, and then the NG. We just want to feel the buzzing in the nose as we follow the vibration of the sound up through the nasal cavity, through Agya Chakra, the third eye center, up through the crown of the head, the Sahasrara or Brahmarandra, and then in the silence afterwards, after the vocalized parts of the sound after, you just feel the vibrating consciousness, the void, the emptiness, the pure potentiality in that part after the exhale is finished. And you just feel consciousness ascend upward from the crown as we trace up towards Dwadashanta, is what classically we'd call it, 12 finger widths above the head. So if you stack your fists, 1, 2, 3, you got 4, 8, 12. You want to try and feel the silence of Om all the way up to that spot and beyond if you can. And we're trying to merge consciousness beyond the body. This is why Lalleshwari was saying she dropped that limited sense of aham, of I, and she was able to expand into Shiva. We're bringing the goddess up the central channel and merging into that pure consciousness of Shiva. And we're using the sound of love to do it, the sound of Shakta Pranava, the goddess sound, Hrim. And that void, that silence after the Hrim or the Om or the Haum or the Hum, it's filled with so much potential. I had a great teacher, Swami Chaitanananda, and he talked about what Shakta Upasana, what goddess practice gives us, is the experience of unimaginable possibility. That's the womb of the goddess, total unimaginable possibility. And that's also the void. It's the silence. It's that emptiness of deep meditation. It's pregnant with possibility. It's so full, so powerful. And so when you're beyond the limitation of just the body and consciousness is up there, beyond the head, beyond Dwadashanta, that's where you're going to get a real hit of who you are. And so the method of working with this repeatedly for some time is as you inhale, you can feel, visualize, or imagine the breath breathing in, coming down from Dwadashanta, the upper liminal space, and we trace the breath all the way down to the root center. If you have experience working with Mula Bandha or Uddiyana Bandha, you can give that a little wink there, just a gentle squeeze. We're inviting prana into the Sushumna, and then we give the full exhalation to the sound Hrim, Hrim, until we merge into the silence above the head, above the crown, floating back up to Dwadashanta, even beyond. So we normally talk about, there are 6 chakras, or 7 if we include the crown, but just like you have chakras through the body, there are upper chakras. And you can start to sense there's a different quality the higher you can expand your consciousness above the head. What's very curious, and it's going to sound crazy to you if you haven't had this experience yet, is as you work with the breath, breathing in down through the crown and towards the root, and exhaling the sound up, is in time you may experience that as you inhale down through the top of your head, you feel coolness at the top of your head. It's like the inhale has that cool quality. You'll feel it up here at the top of Brahmarandra. And then the exhale, you can feel the kind of the heating quality of Hrim as breath passes out through the top of the head. You can start to breathe through the top of your head. Then you're breathing through the Sushumna, the graceful channel. And so this practice, we're using the heat and love of goddess power to unblock the central channel, to relax the sense of I into something bigger. So as we trace the sound Hrim up through the central channel repeatedly, there are going to be places where awareness checks out in the body, where you feel tension, where you feel block, where there are memories, words, images floating around. Don't worry about it. You just keep doing the practice, and as we keep tracing the sound up the central channel, focus your sound, your attention, your energy so much that we can use the sound like a pipe cleaner. And we want to just kind of launch the tension, the tendencies, the impressions out with the sound. So you're powerfully focusing the energy to that point. Out, And it's a very powerful cleansing practice. It's a healing practice. It's an empowering practice. And then working above the crown of the head, it's an ego dissolution practice. But while the sound's in the body, you purify, you uplift, you empower. You are the goddess. You are the power of the goddess, which is love in sound form. Hreem, Om, And then beyond that, you're everything, your totality. So that's the practice. Jasmine asks, would you ever practice Ucchara with Hum? Yeah, you can under certain circumstances. But for our purposes today, Hreem, Hreem. Okay. So we're going to do the practice now for about 10 minutes. We're going to do the practice for about 10 minutes. And then we're going to sit silently after that. You may choose to rest in Shavasana after the Ucchara practice for the silent meditation portion, especially if you feel the oven is heated up really hot. Then, to conclude the practice, we'll spend a few minutes at the end chanting Om Namah Shivaya, just to invoke the nectar, So a bit different of an order at this time, because we're invoking such a powerfully transformative energy, a heating energy, and the nature of Om Namah Shivaya is its ojas, invoking. It builds the inner nectar, It does have a quality of tejas, also inner fire, but its main purpose is to align us with the indwelling divine, and that's a nectarian thing. So first, Ucchara with the sound Hreem. We'll do that for about 10 minutes. As we hit the last of the minutes, the last round of Ucchara, you'll hear the sound of the singing bowl, and I'll say it last time. We'll do one last Hreem all together, and then we'll sit silently in the meditative practice, in which case then you may take Shavasana or just a comfortable meditation posture. And during that time, you can either feel the heartbeat as Hreem or just meditatively freestyle. You could work with Hamsa. You could repeat your mantra. Up to you. But the silence is, you might not need to do anything. The silence is so powerful after that.
What if Hreem wants to continue?
Yeah, keep it going. It's an alive Chaitanya mantra. They call it Bija Hridaya. It's the seed sound of your own heart. So it's always going on. You're just going to finally be tuned into the fact that it's always happening. Yeah. So we'll do the Hreem Ucchara. So I'll guide the first one. I'll guide the first one, and so that's again inhaling down from the upper liminal space, down through the crown and toward the root center. And then you'll devote the full exhalation as you trace the sound and your awareness upward using the sound Hreem. Again, no M at the end. Hreem. All the way up, and you want to try and trace awareness out through the top of the head and beyond. And as you breathe in, down to the crown, toward the root. Exhale, tracing up the central line. Hreem. Okay. Breathe in, down to the crown and toward the root. Just work with your own breath for pace. Keep it going. last time, breathing in. practice has put you in touch with. Notice the feeling, your energy, or your relationship to your body, your thoughts, your feelings. And so we want to pour the nectar of our practice into this chanting of this powerful mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. So we're using the love, the Shakti of our practice now. And as we pour it into singing the mantra, we allow that great state, that love to expand in the outer world. And so it becomes a blessing for all creation to give our yoga over to life like this. So our love permeates everywhere, pouring your love, the state of your practice, into this chanting of Om Namah Shivaya. the heart beat. Feel the energy of the heart beating, the throb of love at the center of your chest. Maybe you can become so quiet you can hear the pulse or sense it as Hrim, 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 Hrim. And as you feel the heartbeat or the pulse in the body, let this awareness expand outward from the heart and feel the whole body together. Awareness of the whole body together, vibrant, alive, filled with love, with energy. Feeling the heart, the pulse, the body. Sense into your surroundings. Feel the unified hum of Hrim, your heart that holds the whole world. Awareness of the heart, its beating, the body, the world. Walk awareness outside. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. Again, breathing in a little bit deeper. Breathing out a little bit longer. When you're ready, you can blink the eyes open and come back into the room. So this is the Ucchara practice. It's a quintessential tantric practice. You can use Hrim to cleanse tension or past impressions. This Ucchara practice is also a very good place to express anything that you're having trouble to shift. You know, when I walked in here, I was gripped by a lot of desire, real feeling of desire, of want when I came in here. And, as you can pour that, desire or aversion or sorrow or anger or whatever it is that you're feeling into the practice, you pour it into the sound and just let the energy of that just really move through you, so you really feel it in the sound. And that way you free yourself up to feel other stuff, you don't want to get, your sadness, your frustration, your anxiety stuck in the body. So you can use it to express not just negative stuff, but good stuff too. You can sing, breathe, and pour all your love into it. I didn't misspeak at the beginning of practice. I came to me during practice. The goddess was angry. You could do Mula Bandha on the inhale. Inhale down to the root, apply Mula Bandha, and then after the Hrim, at that point, when there's no sound left, then you can apply Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. If you're like a real dedicated Hatha yogi and you have a great pranayama practice, you can apply Jalandhara Bandha also known as Maha Bandha, doing all three at once. And the breathless moment as you hover awareness outside. You can apply all three of those bandhas, but first just build proficiency with rotating the sound and the awareness through the body with the Hrim. In time, then you can add the Mula Bandha at the end of the inhale, just to invite consciousness and energy into the Sushumna Nadi, the central channel. And then as you build proficiency with the practice over time, then at the end of that exhalation, you can do Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha, or Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Jalandhara Bandha. And so you can scale the practice like that. Does anyone have anything they want to share or questions that they want to ask before we sign off? Reflections or questions? Okay. That's it for today. We'll sing Purnamida, Purnamidam, and that'll be it. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnamidam. Such a joy to be with you all. More soon. Satgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai.